right now, somewhere in your body, a system is running that you never asked for and can never fully turn off. It activates before you decide to let it. It floods your chest, tightens your throat, and sharpens your senses, all without your permission. You call it fear, and for your entire life, you've probably treated it as a flaw, something to manage, something to overcome, something evolution really should have gotten rid of by now, but it didn't. And the reason why should change how you think about every uncomfortable feeling you've ever tried to push away. Evolution is a brutally efficient editor. Traits that cost energy and offer no benefit get deleted, generation after generation, without mercy. Wisdom teeth are disappearing. The appendix is shrinking. Useless structures vanish because the body that carries them wastes resources it can't spare. So ask yourself this: if fear serves no purpose, why is it still here? Why does it show up in humans, in mice, in birds, in fish, in nearly every species with a nervous system complex enough to have one? The answer is uncomfortable. Fear was never a flaw. It was one of the most successful survival tools your ancestors ever had. Picture the world your earliest ancestors actually lived in. Every single day involved decisions that could end their life within seconds. Was that rustle in the grass wind or a predator? Was that plant food or poison? Was that cliff edge safe to stand near, or one wrong step from a fatal fall? There was no time to reason through each of these carefully. There was no opportunity to weigh evidence like a scientist. There was only a feeling, arriving instantly, that said stop, or run, or freeze. That feeling was fear, and the humans who felt it strongly and obeyed it immediately were exactly the humans who survived long enough to have children. The psychologist Martin Seligman studied this pattern directly. He proposed something called preparedness theory, the idea that humans and animals aren't equally capable of learning to fear just anything. Instead, we come pre-wired to fear specific categories of ancient threat, quickly and permanently, while barely reacting at all to modern dangers that are statistically far more likely to kill us. You can learn to fear a snake in a single encounter. Meanwhile, you can drive a car every day of your life, the single most dangerous machine most people ever operate, and feel almost nothing. The psychologist Arne Ullmann ran a series of experiments that demonstrated exactly how deep this wiring goes. He showed people images of snakes and spiders alongside images of flowers and mushrooms, then paired some of them with a mild electric shock. Fear conditioned to the snakes and spiders formed almost instantly, and it was remarkably difficult to unlearn, even once the shock stopped completely. Fear conditioned to the flowers, and mushrooms faded quickly, almost as if the brain refused to take the threat seriously in the first place. Your brain, it turns out, isn't a blank slate learning fear equally from every experience. It's an ancient library, already stocked with the specific dangers your ancestors needed to survive long before you were ever born. The psychologist Susan Mineka pushed this even further with an experiment involving lab-raised rhesus monkeys who had never once seen a snake in their lives. She showed them a video of another monkey reacting with fear to a snake. That was enough. After watching for less than a minute, the lab-raised monkeys developed a lasting, powerful fear of snakes themselves, despite having no direct experience with one at all. But when she showed them a doctored video of a monkey reacting fearfully to a flower, the fear simply didn't transfer. The brain accepted the snake as a legitimate threat instantly. It rejected the flower as nonsense, no matter how convincingly the fear was performed in front of it. This tells you something important. Fear in your body isn't randomly assigned. It's selectively inherited, aimed with startling precision at the exact dangers that shaped survival for millions of years. Heights work the same way, and the evidence for it starts astonishingly early in life. The psychologists Eleanor Gibson and Richard Walk built something called the visual cliff, a raised platform with a sheet of thick glass extending out over what looked, visually, like a sudden drop to the floor below. They placed crawling infants, some as young as 6 months old, at the edge of it and called to them from the far side. Most of the infants refused to cross, even though their mothers were smiling and encouraging them from just a few feet away, even though the glass beneath them was perfectly solid. Some infants patted the glass with their hands, feeling that it was safe, and still would not crawl forward. A fear of the edge, of the drop, of the open air beneath an unstable-looking surface was already present before most of these children had ever fallen from anything in their short lives. Nobody taught them to be afraid of that ledge. Something older than their own experience taught them first. Poison worked on your ancestors in a strikingly similar way, though the warning system looked different. You didn't need to consciously calculate manipulate the chemistry of a berry to know something was wrong with it. Instead, evolution built in a shortcut through disgust, through bitterness, through a specific unease at unfamiliar smells and colors that didn't match anything safe your ancestors had eaten before. Children today still show a strong, largely unlearned wariness toward new foods, especially ones that are bitter, strongly scented, or brightly unusual in color, the exact sensory profile of many of the most dangerous plants on Earth. This wariness frustrates modern parents trying to introduce vegetables at the dinner table, but it wasn't designed with dinner tables in mind. It was designed for a world where one wrong bite, eaten with too much confidence, could end everything. Now think about what's actually happening inside you the moment fear switches on. The neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades mapping this circuit in the brain, and he found something remarkable. A structure called the amygdala can trigger a full fear response before the rest of your brain has even finished identifying what you're looking at. Information from your eyes and ears splits into two paths the instant it enters your skull. One path travels to the thinking, reasoning parts of your cortex, slow and careful. The other takes a shortcut straight to the amygdala, fast and crude, built to react first and ask questions later. That's why you can jump backward from a coiled shape on a hiking trail, heart already pounding, a full half-second before your conscious mind manages to whisper, "Oh, it's just a rope." That's not a bug in the system. That's the entire point of the system. A half-second head start on a real predator is the difference between living and dying. Evolution wasn't optimizing for accuracy. It was optimizing for speed at any cost, even the cost of feeling foolish over false alarms for the rest of your life. The evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nessa framed this using a simple, almost embarrassing comparison. Your fear response works exactly like a smoke detector mounted in your kitchen. A perfectly calibrated smoke detector doesn't wait for confirmed proof that a fire is spreading before sounding the alarm. It goes off the instant there's smoke, even if that smoke came from nothing more dangerous than burnt toast. Annoying, yes, but a smoke detector that only ever triggers for real confirmed fires isn't well designed. It's already failed the one job it exists to do. Nessie argued that natural selection built the same logic into your nervous system. It would always favor 1,000 unnecessary false alarms over even a single missed genuine threat, because only one of those two outcomes can actually kill you. This is why fear so rarely feels proportionate to modern life. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a saber-toothed predator and a tense email from your boss. It doesn't know the difference between a genuine physical threat and a crowded room full of strangers who are, statistically, almost certainly harmless. It fires the same ancient alarm regardless because it was never built for nuance. It was built for speed in a world that no longer exists in the same form, but that shaped you completely. So the next time your heart races before a presentation or your stomach drops at an unexpected phone call late at night, understand what's actually occurring. You're not malfunctioning. You're not weak. You're running the exact same system that once saved every single one of your ancestors from a predator hidden in tall grass, a poisonous plant mistaken for food, a cliff edge that came one step too close. This is also why so many modern anxieties feel disproportionate, and why knowing that doesn't make them go away. You can understand, intellectually, that a job interview cannot actually kill you. Your amygdala doesn't care. It never received that memo, and it never will, because it wasn't built to update its threat list based on a calendar. It was built once, slowly, over millions of years, for a world of teeth and edges and unfamiliar berries, and it has been running that same original program in every human body ever since, including yours right now, whether the danger in front of you is real or not. Evolution never removed fear, because fear was never the problem to be solved. It was the solution, working exactly as intended to a problem your body has never truly stopped preparing for. Right now, somewhere in your body, that same system is still running, still waiting, still refusing to be switched off. And now you finally know why.